Harley Carnes, CBS News.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, where each week you will find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you are building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Base Yard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. For those who may be listening for the first time this week, each week during this show and during this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies, just how they are changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today we're going to start off the show with some folks from Maui Mediation Services. We've got Bevan Bowers. How are you? Did I mess that up?
Well, you added a spin to it.
Oh, okay. A spin. Oh, it's just Bevan. Bevan. Oh, Bevan. Okay. Folks, I'm not even going to tell you how it's spelled because you'd never get that out of it. Bevan Bowers. I'm going to get it right.
No worries.
Okay. Who is the Executive Director of Maui Mediation Services, and Leilani Kepler, who is... you had a title that was a mile long, so I didn't even get it written down.
Client and Program Coordinator.
Coordinator. Okay, she coordinates, makes things happen over there.
Indeed. Force behind it, yeah.
And Bevan, what would you do without her?
Run around crazy.
Gotcha. Okay, so Bevan's been here about 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
And Leilani has prior experience with mediation services. So you're coming to the show today with, what, 5 or 6 years of history?
Almost 7 years.
Almost
actually.
7. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to get the real scoop on what mediation services is all about. I think the thing that I appreciate about it is that it's an option for almost any kind of a conflict that's going on out there.
Yes.
And what do you want to talk about specifically? Are there certain programs that are top of mind or that you need some help with?
Well, Susie, like you said, we are such a great option for just about any kind of dispute. And yet we've been on the island and been operating since 1982. As a matter of fact, actually a board member of ours brought in a newspaper clipping from 1987 that actually was a full-page ad in the local paper highlighting with 2 of the mediators at that time.
Oh, my gosh.
And again, you're reading about just how people from the community who are trained, of course, and who want to be involved with problem solving, with helping the community, can get together and make all the difference in cases from landlord-tenant, business, family, domestics, of course, divorces, custody, consumer, merchant, juvenile cases, friends, condominiums, businesses, auto accidents, bicycle accidents, moped accidents. If there's a dispute, we can definitely handle it, and we do it in a way that is totally different than if you go the judicial route.
So if I remember correctly from a couple interviews I've done with previous folks from mediation services, the whole point is that in mediation, the object is win-win.
Yes.
Whereas in the legal system, there's a winner and a loser.
Well, in the legal system, you're going to go to a forum where someone is going to tell you the outcome.
Okay.
In mediation, we come together, we have neutral third parties who are there to facilitate the sharing of information. In court, you think you're getting your side out. And of course, if you've got a skilled attorney there, they're doing their best to have that happen. But oftentimes it's the nugget underneath. It's what's really motivating this discord here that really hasn't been addressed that can make all the difference in the world. And our trained mediators not only have the training to listen, to try to elicit what it is that's really at the root of this problem, and then how do the parties co-create something they can live with. Not an order that you've got to abide by, but something that they feel they had a hand in.
So if they come into the mediation process just adamant about their position,
And that has happened a lot. There was my first day on the job, the very first day. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to settle in, new ED. No, there was a mediation that I needed to fill in on. And one of the parties was just adamant, I don't want to be here. This is not for me. This is not going to work. And that happens, I'd say, maybe 50% of the time. But most of those times, they walk out with a totally different perspective.
Because they've heard the other side.
Well, because
and what the real issue is.
Not only they've heard the other side, but they've heard themselves.
Okay.
And that's where the mediators come in. They get to have the person refrain for the person and let them hear back what it is they're saying. Because if you're spouting off and you're full of anger and, then are you really hearing? Or are you just making that same argument that you made to your family, your friends, everybody who will listen, instead of saying, but this is what I'm really trying to get across?
Gotcha. So you can turn it around.
Oh, definitely. That's the beauty and the magic of mediation. Things that seem hopeless, you can definitely turn around.
Interesting. Leilani's shaking her head, yes, and smiling. You must have seen this happen too.
Oh, I've seen it happen so many times. And the thing about mediation is that even if parties don't reach an agreement, being heard and listened to uninterrupted, being able to say your side with mediators who are there neutral, but reframing, summarizing what you're saying, it's really a relief for people. And when we have these surveys that they fill out when they leave, and 93% are very satisfied with the process.
Wow.
99% would definitely or probably recommend mediation to others. So
those are great numbers.
They're good numbers. Yeah, and these are feedback forms that we give to the participants directly right after the mediation has occurred. So
yeah, that's incredible. I took part in mediation once. I think it had to do with the community I live in. Mm-hmm. The community association was forcing its rules on somebody. Can you imagine that?
Mm.
And then that person said, no, that can't be right. There's got to be a way to not have to do that. And it was like, okay, you've got 120 homeowners here in this association. They're going to change the rule. They're going to slide the rule just for you and not change the rules, but let you get by with it. And the bottom line was no. And so we had said early on that we could not vary our answer. It was this. But she insisted on mediation. And obviously we came away with no settlement in the case, which was too bad. But it was that kind of a thing that there wasn't any give or take. It wasn't like you and I disagreeing on what color shirt I have on today, kind of a thing. So she lived up to that rule and hated it all the way through and said she was going to sell her house and get out of there as fast as she can. I think it's been 6 years and she's still doing things on her house and finishing up the yard and from what I see, it looks like she's perfectly happy there. But there was just this one issue that she just had it, and whatever was going on in her personal life, we think must have affected what she was doing, because it must have disappeared or got settled somehow, but it never came out. Why do you feel this way? And it still wouldn't have changed our response.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe there was some little nugget that she wanted the entire board to hear, and that could have just been it. She wanted to be heard on that, be right or wrong, just listen to me. And that could be as simple as it was, which is why she's still a neighbor.
And interesting, yeah. I mean, you like you say, you don't know what the underlying story is.
Exactly.
And after that situation, I had to think on several different occasions, okay, now why is this person really bringing this up? This isn't the issue. It's something else. And we do that, don't we?
More than we know. More than we know.
Yeah. It just, we're ashamed to let people know that that's how we're feeling, or don't know how to explain it or state it in words. It's a feeling. And so we come up with this, off the wall thing or
might not even know ourselves in that moment. It's something's wrong, but I'm not really going to take a moment to digest it and try to look at it and see what's going on. I'm just going to react to other things.
Right.
So we're shifting our focus when what's really going on and it's really the catalyst of our outburst isn't being dealt with.
Yeah, interesting. So now we're talking about the mediators.
Mm-hmm.
These are all volunteers.
All volunteers from day one.
And they're from all walks of life.
Indeed. We've got real estate agents. We've got attorneys. We've got retired persons, we've got social service people, sales reps, business owners, all walks of life. And that helps because you never know what's going to walk through the door. And part of our job is matching the right mediators with the right conflict. So the wider spectrum you have, the wider pool you have to pull from to ensure that you're going to have a successful interaction with the parties.
Right. And now they all have to go through training,
Mandatory, yes.
and it's fairly extensive, as I understand.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So that as they're reviewing the situation, listening to the parties, and then, like you said, kind of restating what you said in their way, so that everybody understands, they're pulling together this information to try to get everybody to listen. Is the bottom line.
Yes. And let me stop.
Yeah.
After the training, it's not just we throw you in and start
Okay.
mediating, because you got new skills, but you need to see them in action. You need to feel comfortable with what you're doing. So after the training and after having an interview with myself as the ED, then you go into the observation period where you see other more experienced mediators actually doing it, so you get more of a comfort level. And it's not until our volunteers have seen enough to say, okay, I'm ready to try to go in with another more experience, because our mediators go in teams of 2, that I'm ready to try it out, and that just keeps it the best opportunity for all involved, for our new mediator, for our experienced mediator, and for our participants.
Interesting. Okay. So if someone wants to become a mediator, they call you.
They do. They give us a call at 244-5744.
Okay. And then is there an interview process with them?
There generally is an interview process when we're finding out their information, because some people might have experiences in conflict resolution, and for our classes, we like to know the people who are coming in. But before you become an actual volunteer, there's the outtake interview where I find out a little bit more. How did the training go? How are you feeling? Strengths, weaknesses, and that's really important.
Okay.
But the training is open just to anyone who is truly interested and wants to find out more about mediation and more about mediation services.
Do they have to agree to be a mediator to take the training?
They do not have to agree, but generally after our training, they're so enthused about what we do, they want to become
They
a part
wanna
of
be.
it. Yeah.
Okay. So like if somebody works in a large office that's having some problems, and they say, well, maybe I'll take this training. Maybe it'll help me understand what's the real dynamic here. And so they take the training, come back, and they try to work on the situation there. Maybe they solve it, maybe they don't. But at some point they say, well, you know what? I need some experience. Right?
It happens all the time. We just went through an annual audit that we have to do. And our auditor actually turned out to be one of our prior trainees. And he said, I was so taken by the training. I haven't had a chance really to jump back in and do sessions, but you'd be amazed how often I use these skills in dealing with clients. It happens often, more and more again.
Interesting. Huh. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I just want to say about the mediators, they're amazing, and they donated 694 hours last year to the agency, and they helped to serve over 1,000 clients, and they diverted 113 cases from the courts last year.
Wow. That's
a lot of cases.
That's got to help the system.
It does. It
Quite a
definitely
bit.
does.
There was a statistic that I saw, domestic mediators needed on your website, talking about divorces on the rise.
Indeed.
And I think a lot of us, we haven't heard a whole lot about divorce. It's not a big issue. There's so many other issues that have come to the forefront. Talking about divorce cases at Maui Mediation Services have tripled since 2012. That's a lot. Triple.
It has.
Now, I don't know whether that's 3 instead of 1, but, I'm assuming there's more than that. But train mediators to work, I would think a divorce case is a hard one.
They're challenging, and it takes a special person that wants to jump in, but some of our mediators are just so skilled. It's amazing to see them at work. It really is. I was in the last domestic training, and the one that I got to observe was with a longtime couple. And their ease with one another just flowed into the ease that the participants were able then to feel. And they came out with an agreement. And again, it was another situation where they walked in and this isn't going to work. And I don't feel that we're getting anything out of this. But
So the mediators were a couple.
yes, the mediators were a couple as well.
Oh, interesting.
We have 2 of those, actually.
Really? They come in and then they discuss with the couple that's getting the divorce, and they relax and feel the. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I actually have a story about the couple mediators I had.
Can we hold the story?
Okay.
We've got to take a quick
Okay,
break, and we'll
sorry.
come back and do the story then.
Okay.
How's that, Leilani?
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
A lot of people feel like they have.
Welcome back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, talking story right now with a couple of people from Maui Mediation Services. We've got Bevon Bowers. Oh, look, it's a thumbs up. I can say that all day now. Bevon. Once you catch it.
See, it's easy.
It is. Well, I spelled it phonetically.
Phonetically, okay.
So now I've got it. So, and Leilani Kepler, who was starting to tell us an intriguing story just before the break. So, Leilani, it's all yours.
Okay, so we have mediators that do they're couples and they do the divorce mediation. So we have 2 of those, and I had a couple on a mediation, and one of the mediators had to cancel. She couldn't mediate. So I'm actually putting the wife of the other couple on with the husband. So I was like, let's see how this goes. You guys are so used to mediating with each other, so let's see how you mediate with another husband or wife. So anyway,
How'd it work out?
Well, it's
coming up.
It's coming up next
really?
week. Yeah.
Oh.
So we'll see. Hopefully, yes.
So is this going to be? Let's see what could happen here, or is it going to be? I mean, because you can tell. I would think that the mediators, they have a certain level of relaxed, informational kind of talking, versus kind of more the in-your-face style or whatever. I mean, if they're kind of similar styles, I would think it'd be a great match.
They'll be fine.
Even though
They'll
they
do
maybe
great.
can't finish each other's sentences.
Right,
but
exactly. They'll do fine.
And we actually have already had a case where one of the couples got teamed up with his non-partner mediator, and it worked out fine. We
fine.
had an agreement after several hours, and it was
cool.
another domestic case. So because of the skill level that our trainees have, yes, it's comfortable if you're with someone you've done it with a lot, but they're able to develop a rapport with one another relatively easily,
Right.
and they come in a little early just to get a feel for the case and for each other and kind of map out how we're going to handle it.
Neat. So now, in the case, let's stay with the divorce situation. In mediation for a divorce, what are we talking about? Are we talking about like division of property, who gets the kids, those kinds of things?
We're talking about whatever they need to talk about. Sometimes it's just about the parenting time, the custody of the kids. Sometimes it's both, and sometimes it'll take more than just that one sit down. And sometimes they'll say, okay, we got this issue handled, but hey, I'm going to call Maui Mediation Services up again because I need to deal with that. Because they were able to see that movement they hadn't had before was able to happen.
Okay, so instead of going in and letting a judge decide, where you really, I mean, you've got limited input, and he just says, okay, he or she says, okay, this is what's going to happen, and you're both sitting there unhappy.
Exactly.
Here's a chance for them to discuss it back and forth. Why this, why not that?
A guided
And hopefully-
discussion, because if they've tried to discuss before and it has spiraled down into a yelling match or a slamming or I'm not communicating, that's no good. So you come in and you have the mediators there to help keep the discussion on track and have individual time, because we do have in our model a breakout with both of the parties, so they are truly heard to the fullest extent. Nothing's held back. It's like, okay, what else do you want to bring up? Let's get everything out so everything can be on the table.
Gotcha. Shifting gears a little bit, a few years ago I had a chance to visit with someone who handled a workplace issue that went into mediation. Within the company, there were, I guess, 2 or 3 sides that had formed, or alliances, if you will, and it was starting to affect the company's outcome. And not the he said, she said kind of a thing, but no, you do that, I'm not going to do it, sort of antics. And it just kind of zeroed down into nobody wanting to come to work anymore.
Wow.
Because it just was an unhappy situation. But they agreed to try mediation, and I think someone was sent to the workplace to sit down with them. Is that fairly common?
Still
or?
going on. We have not only workplace facilitations where a trained facilitator can come to the workplace and again help guide the meeting so they stay focused, so everyone is heard and so that all the issues are brought to the forefront, but also a training where they're actually learning how to be civil to one another. Because if you're going to a place where you hate the people, you hate what you're doing, productivity is going to go way down, and of course expenses are going to go way up, and the owners are going to be, what's going on with my business? So we are finding that there's an incredible need for that type of training and for that type of service in the community, and that's something we're expanding as we speak. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Interesting, and I know that we're at such low unemployment that you really don't want to let somebody go, because you may not find somebody to take their place, good or bad, whatever the situation is. So if you can work the situation out, that's what you want to do.
Indeed.
And this sounds amazing to be able to go in. Now that's probably got to take several sessions.
It takes several sessions. We've done it in breakouts where we'll go for a couple of hours. And for one of our clients, it's regular. We will have a meeting with one particular group, and we do it monthly, or we do it as often as their HR department deems necessary. So fires pop up. Then it's time in, go in, address it, come back, more people, changes the dynamic, come back. We'll do it as often as they request.
Interesting. And I'm sure at the end of the whole thing, you've got a lot of believers.
And I think so. It's working. We're getting more and more calls about it.
And I would think that probably in a situation like that, you're going to find yourself, not playing favorites with anybody within that group, but you're going to see where the trouble comes from.
Well, you'll see what's at the root of the trouble.
Okay.
So that person might be seen as, okay, you're the troublemaker right there. But what's going on with that person? Did they feel that they were wrongfully passed over for a raise? Or even if they got a promotion, did they get what they felt were the proper accolades of acknowledgement for what they did or contributed to the company? So again, it's dissecting what's going on. So what's on the face might not be the cause of what all this disruption's about.
Interesting. Fascinating world. Yeah, Leilani, you must love it. You came back to it.
Yeah. I actually love the trainer. She's amazing. She does just really good work, and I'm looking forward to working with her.
And her name is?
Diane Petropoulos.
Oh, right. She's been on the show. Yeah. She's still doing it.
She's
Yes,
doing
indeed.
it. She
That's
is
great.
doing it.
Yeah, that's great. So now, do you have enough volunteers, or are you always looking for more?
We are always looking for interested volunteers who would love to take part in our mediation trainings.
Okay.
Our next will be a basic training coming up, so we're already collecting names and contact information. Because we do have a limited number of slots. We want to make it where they can get the full advantage of the training, so you don't want to have it too large. But if anyone is interested in joining our family, we more than welcome the phone call.
And let's do that number one more time.
Number is 244-5744.
Great. Now, you've got something coming up here in October.
October 15th is International Conflict Resolution Day. It's been going on since 2005, and it was actually started to promote awareness of alternative dispute resolution centers, policies, people, mediation, arbitration, anything creative that takes it out of that acrimonious world of, I'm going to sue you, and So this is a day where we're trying to just bring the community's attention to what's been going on right here in your backyard and the services that we offer, and let everyone know that if there's a dispute going on, try mediation. Mediate, don't litigate is one of the phrases that we have on a bumper sticker.
Right.
But it's an option to be considered for all types of disputes.
You just said something that sparked a thought that I had earlier, and I passed over it. When people come into mediation, they've decided they're ready to discuss the issue. Do they ever have is there ever an attorney on one side or the other who doesn't want them in there by themselves and wants to come with them? And can they?
Leilani, you've had more experience with the cases, and I know we've had attorneys come in, but who don't want them to come in. Can you speak more to that?
We just have to get an agreement on who's going to be attending the mediation. So if one party's not okay with another party coming, we have to get agreement.
Okay.
That's basic,
Okay.
Definitely that has to occur. We have had situations where an attorney is on one side and there's just a person pro se who has no support
Right.
or anything, and they just come by themselves. So we make sure that we put very experienced mediators who can balance the power between the parties. One thing about mediation is that a lot of the mediation is done in separate sessions.
Right.
So really the parties are together in the beginning, and if their agreement looks like it's going to be reached, they're brought together in the end for the negotiation process. But so we just make sure that everyone's okay with it and the power is balanced between the parties.
So you don't need the attorney taking over that side of the case, because you're trying to get to the root of why this is happening, and he doesn't know because he's not one of the parties.
And that would change the whole dynamic of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
That turns it more into an adversarial proceeding, and that's what mediation is not about.
Right. Okay. But they can be there, even if they're just sitting there listening to what's going on. They get a better perspective of the whole case.
And Leilani was telling me earlier previously, we have had a lot of support, tremendous support from the legal community, from Maui attorneys who see the value in what we're doing.
And they oftentimes will just send their client, and they just want to make sure that the agreement that's reached is acceptable for them.
Okay. So the two parties can agree to it, subject to the attorney's review of it or something.
Exactly.
I see. Okay. Wonderful. This is the fastest half hour in radio.
Yes, I see.
I know. I noticed you looked down, and I go, we got to wrap you up here so we can get to the next one. Thank you, Bhavan, for being with us today.
Susie, thank
and
you so
Leilani.
much for having us.
We got to have you back.
Indeed. We've got more to talk about.
There you go. There you go. Have a great week, and thanks a lot. And again, the phone number, if anyone's interested in volunteering,
244-5744.
5744. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're going to shift gears here real quick, and we're going to be talking with Jen Cox, who is are you still publicity?
Yes, community relations specialist.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. It has a formal title. This is for Malama Maui Nui.
Yes.
And for those of you who may not be familiar with that name, although everybody should be by now.
We've been rolling with it for a couple of years now
Was
as
it
doing
like
business
3?
as. July 2013, so 2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. Formerly known as Community Workday.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's still Community Workday doing business as Malama Maui Nui.
Exactly.
That's how this all rolls.
Yep.
Because you're still part of the main national organization. What is it?
We are an affiliate of Keep America Beautiful.
Beautiful,
Mhm.
right. So you've got some projects coming up that you're going to want to talk about here this morning.
So hopefully our name, like you said, our name is maybe a little bit more recognizable because we just kicked off our Get the Drift and Bag It campaign, which is also in alliance with the International Coastal Cleanup. So celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. So it was a big deal, September 19th. And in honor of the kickoff, we had about 76 volunteers down at Kahului Harbor, covering about a mile stretch of Kahului Beach Road from Waihata Warehouse all the way down to my beach hotel.
Oh, wow, that's a whole bay.
Yeah, plus the small boat ramp area as well. So it was super great.
I wish this was on television so you could see her dynamic, show of what the bay looks like. And
Right.
You do talk with your hands.
I talk with my hands, and
but you also talk very well.
The great thing. Well, thank you. I sometimes I'm in doubt. Like some people might think different. based on the coverage that we got. We had we were super lucky to have Akaku media youth reporters doing coverage of the event, and we actually got our volunteer photographer, drone operator, Jason Hastain of Esteem Productions and EpicAir.com. He volunteered his time, came down, had a drone, heading over the harbor, checking out the volunteers, seeing what they're doing. We had a lot of support from key clubs around the island,
Yeah.
and they're down there like little ants rolling the tires that they found, piling it all up. It's great. I mean, we had a blast. It was super fun to have that and have all that community involvement for taking care of Kahului Harbor and setting the example for the rest of the campaign.
And that was just the kickoff.
That
day.
was just the kickoff. We are going strong for a whole month through October 17th. And the ultimate goal is to have cleanups led by the community throughout all of Maui County, all accessible shorelines, your favorite snorkel bays, surf breaks, beaches, what have you. Go out there, show them some love, and see the immediate effect of not having as much litter out there, but also feeling the long-term effect of having a healthier environment for all of us to enjoy and for our natural resources to thrive.
So now if I'm listening to this show and I hear you talking about this and I say, hey, I want to go help clean up the beach that I frequent, how can I find out when a group is going to be working there so I'm not just there by myself?
So this year we have acquired the power of Google to create a Google map that you can create your own maps now. So you can put your little pinpoints in. So we have a growing number of points all across Maui right now. We're still looking up for some Molokai and Lanai action to delineate where cleanups are happening throughout the month. And so you'll see ones that have like just a team name or just an organization name. Those are cleanups that they're doing on their own. But there also are some public open cleanups like ours coming up to wrap up the event with Surfrider Foundation on October 17th, the Paia Town Cleanup at Baldwin Beach.
Wow.
Yes. So Baldwin Beach, October 17th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll just as always, having a crew of happy people out there cleaning up the beach and taking care of business.
That sounds bad, but it's only 3 hours.
It is.
9 a.m. to 12 p.m. because 12 p.m. is noon.
Yes.
Okay, just in case
Truth.
some of you
Sorry,
out there
12
are
noon.
thinking midnight.
No.
Nope.
And we are, graciously going to be fed by flatbread again.
Cool.
There, so that's fun. And I think actually there might even be a T-shirt in it for folks. But we'll see about that. Yeah. Surf Riders is cooking up something special for volunteers, and that's the nice thing too. Is obviously, hopefully, the message is that to Malama Aina is to the benefit of all of us, and it's our kuleana is something to do that's ordinary, not extraordinary. But we do want to give a shout out and thanks and gratitude for all the volunteers who do get involved. And so this year we also have a volunteer appreciation drawing. For anybody involved in Get the Drift and Bag It, whether they come as a free agent volunteer, as I like to call them, at our hosted organized events like the kickoff or the October 17th cleanup, or if you want to do your own thing with your own group of folks and you just get people's names on a sign-in sheet, and they're all eligible for this drawing that features prizes from Esteem Productions, a photo package with him, or a flatbread company. We've got a couple $25 gift certificates. Grand Wailea's Spa Grand and the Humu Restaurant. We've got some gift certificates from there. Hawaii Island Surf and Sport, High Tech Maui, get some swag going. A Make Believe company as well got us some cool shirts, and Snorkel Bob's has these 2 lovely photo books of the very fish that you are helping to keep healthy and happy.
Cool. Neat variety of stuff.
I do. I'm happy about it for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a nice little incentive.
So if anybody out there wants to these most of the organized events are on Saturdays.
Right. Well, that's the beauty of it for folks. If you work on a Saturday, like so many people do, you can organize your event whenever. When you pick the date, you pick the time, you pick the people. We can facilitate the cleanup by giving you, if you are in need of supplies, if you cannot get your own, we're happy to help provide with trash bags and litter grabbers and gloves. And also this particular to the International Coastal Cleanup and Get the Drift and Bag It are these data cards. Not only do we want to remove the litter, but we want to move in the direction of preventing it from happening in the first place. And one way of doing that is to collect data on the types and quantities of litter found in particular areas. And that information gets fed up to the and contributes to the Global Ocean Trash Index managed by Ocean Conservancy to kind of find out what is going on where in order to find the sources of that litter in order to hopefully prevent it from happening in the first place.
Yeah, I think that like when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking all this stuff is from us, that we've been on the beach and we've, just let this stuff go out in the ocean. But a lot of this stuff comes in from somewhere else.
True. Yeah, a lot of beaches on the North Shore have seen an influx of stuff from, even still the 2011 tsunami or from all the weather we've been having recently.
Right.
Just that has been churning up some waters. And that's part of the thing that why we're involved with International Coastal Cleanup, because obviously litter on our beaches has very local impacts, but it's also a global, it has global repercussions as well. We're all connected through ocean currents and winds. And
Exactly.
so it's all really one big ocean.
Okay, and on that note, we've got to take another break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out what they're up to. And I think you guys are up to your ankle. No, you must be higher than that. Up to your knees in trash.
Well,
Ooh, that sounds awful, doesn't it? It depends on how far out in the ocean you walk.
truth. Or into the king. I'm just kidding.
No.
No, but our field crew would have a better talk on that. I'm blessed to be behind the computer
Gotcha.
a lot of the times. But I see what the stuff that they bring back, and it's quite amazing, the truckloads of debris they find on the roadsides as well as and beaches and stuff. I mean, Baldwin, I'm interested to see how the October 17th cleanup happens, because Baldwin Beach usually has some interesting things lurking in the bushes, whether last year was like a whole box full of polystyrene peanuts, like the styrofoam packing shells. So, but it turned out to be a great thing, because then we found out that Maui Pack and Ship takes those for free, and they reuse them. So it was great. One less thing to go to the landfill, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and again, that kind of goes to making note of what is found where in order to see ways to prevent it. Kahului Harbor, we removed over 4,000 cigarette butts, 1,700 fireworks pieces, which that was a surprising fact. I mean, I guess it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. And we're like, what holiday happened anywhere recently that would require a bunch of shooting of fireworks? So I don't know if Labor Day is a time when people
Not
do that,
usually.
or otherwise that means that stuff was around since like 4th of July or even New Year's from the who knows. But something to look out for and to think about when you're shooting off fireworks, that there's debris left behind that you might want to pick up.
I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier when you said with all the different weather we've been having and how the oceans have been churning, even including the mini tsunami effect that was before the 7th, or the, what was it, 19th. Things like that, and you look at it and you say, okay, this could have been way over there for 6 months, and then the ocean brought it forward because of its variable winds and waves, and I'm getting into territory I don't know anything about.
Currents,
but I mean,
we'll
the
stick
currents
to
and all that kind of stuff.
terms, right?
But
I do that.
and because you think of, I mean, we do have a lot of ethnic groups that do use fireworks in some of their celebrations and things. So it may not have anything to do with any of the days we usually attribute fireworks to.
True.
Or it could be an accumulation from two of them, New
Yeah.
Year's and 4th of July or whatever. But just to think that stuff's out there.
Yeah, and I went to Kanaha Beach Park, like the campground area, like on Labor Day in the afternoon, and it was littered with little water balloon pieces. And so it's funny just taking a pause to think of all the, obviously water balloons, like super fun, game time, yay, little children laughing and running around.
Right.
But just thinking about the effects of that
Clean up
stuff too.
afterwards.
Just take the time, take that extra beat to clean it up after, and then everybody's a lot better off.
But isn't the general theory that, well, they're just little pieces. They're not going to do any harm. They'll disappear. Balloons are biodegradable, aren't they?
No, absolutely not. Nor are cigarette butts,
Right.
With the filters in there. But that's actually really funny you bring that up, because just on the way over here, listening to NPR, Canada just banned or put microbeads, the little plastic balls that are in face washes and a lot of toothpaste. They just banned that material from being in those products because they are so small that the wastewater treatment plants filters can't catch them, and they go straight out into the ocean or straight out into the lakes. In this case, it was Lake Ontario that they were talking about. And you see, like, the scientist was like skimming scum off of the top of the lake, and these little blue beads were there. And so the small stuff, the person they were interviewing was saying, the small stuff can be the most harmful because it can go undetected, and these plastic pieces are like sponges that just soak up the toxins and go straight into our food chain, from the mussels soaking them up as the filter feeders soaking up everything around it, or the fish that think, ooh, that's a fish egg, let me eat it. And then, lo and behold, before we know it, we're going to be cutting into our,
Fish.
and seeing some gnarly stuff that we don't really want to digest ourselves.
Ouch.
So, yeah, every little bit.
We used to be worried about the big plastic bags going over the heads of fish, or ropes, chains, or whatever kinds of things they get caught up in.
Right.
This is a whole nother
It's a whole other
attack.
level. So, it's just, and we just, the awareness of it is the important thing, and just taking those little steps to find, I think that's the beauty of these beach cleanups, is that it really kind of brings to the forefront to everybody's personal experience what kind of litter is out there and how they connect with it, whether they're a smoker and they see a bunch of cigarette butts on the floor, or, I love my coffee and I see a bunch of coffee lids on the floor, and I'm thinking like, okay, next time I'm going to be sure to bring my reusable mug or cup. So that's kind of hopefully the takeaway from these beach cleanups, not just that, all right, I did my good deed for the day, check, but it's a lasting effect of how do I live my daily life and how does it affect the environment around me.
Do schools ever have classes of theirs going down for these cleanups as a group, or is it pretty much outside of school?
A lot of our cleanups are on Saturdays, but I do go to schools and do litter prevention presentations, and sometimes we'll add a speed cleanup at the back end of it. So as soon as it's, their brains are fresh with the information, and then they go run around their school campus and see the very things that we were talking about, like food wrappers and plastic bags hanging around on the campus. And so they can kind of immediately associate, like, okay, what we talk about, it actually exists, and I have the power to make a change.
Right.
So
Interesting. Yeah, fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, so that's our
that.
Get the Drift and Bag It.
Right, and malamamauinui.org is our website, and so if people who are feeling super empowered and engaged and inspired right now to go out and do something, call 877-2524, speak to Auntie Francine. She'll connect you with Lauren, our volunteer coordinator, or you can talk to Francine herself, and she'll take down your cleanup stats and set you up with supplies, or just send you on your way.
Cool. And you've got a chance to do that going right through to October 17th.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, shoot. I just had a great idea, and it's gone. Let the great ones disappear on us. Anyway, it'll come back up as we talk. But now you've also got I know what it was. Malama Maui Nui. Malama means
To care for.
to care for. Maui, of course, is Maui. And Nui is the entire county of
the entire
Maui,
county,
which
yeah.
includes
Molokai, Lanai, and Ka'olave, but obviously, you got to go through Kirk with that one,
Right,
kind of.
right,
But,
yeah.
but like we were saying, you don't have to get on Ka'olave soil in order to care for Ka'olave. There are plenty of things we can do here to make sure that the oceans surrounding Ka'olave and Lanai and Molokai stay healthy and clean.
Right. Cool. Okay. Second Saturday recycling programs.
Yeah, this is a new one starting up. Maybe folks do or don't know, we administer a lot of the countywide recycling programs, such as household batteries, used motor oil, and also we run the community paint exchange out of our base yard in Pu'unene. So naturally, there's a lot of materials that we're dealing with, and to get ready for to process them for their next level of their recycling journey, we do ask for volunteer help. A lot of times there's, batteries that need to be sorted or prepped for processing. You actually have to tape the ends of the batteries before putting them in barrels that get sealed up to take them onto the shipping containers that then go to the mainland to be processed in a plant there, which we definitely want to do because they're filled with toxic materials that can be reused into new appliances or even fertilizer or, it's interesting, the different stuff that makes things. But this is a very scientific discussion right now, sorry.
Right.
But yeah, so just hands on deck to help make sure that these programs thrive and can serve the public. They're all also in an effort to divert materials from the landfill because that's the one landfill we've got going on right now, and we don't want it to fill up prematurely, or else we got to find another place to put a big hole in the ground.
Right.
And land is precious here.
Exactly. We don't need a lot of burial spots for materials that shouldn't be out there in the first place.
Right.
So then the third Saturday is something that you've been doing, right?
Yeah, the recycling events over on the west side. That's a partnership with the Rotary Club of Lahaina Sunset. That's gotten a lot of great coverage in the press lately, which goes to show just how valued it is by the community to have a convenient place to take your recyclable materials, whether they be high fives or cardboard or plastics 1 and 2, or something more intense like the old refrigerator that stopped working 3 years ago and is taking up space in your garage. We take that stuff too. So
Bring it down and drop it off.
Bring it down. You get to hang out with Stacy, who's quickly rising in fame as the most energetic
Yes.
field technician of our staff. Yeah, no, people love him. I think he's going to get a fan club pretty soon.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
He's the one that's moving all these things around.
Moving and grooving. The guy is no more than I mean, forgive me, Stacey, if I'm going wrong, but I'm 6 foot. He's probably 5'6", but the guy could lift a truck off of anything, I'm sure. I mean, he's
I think we need him on the UH football team.
yeah. He's probably on average about a couple decades older than the average age of the, but
Oh.
still,
I'll bet he could run
But
circles
no
around
doubt,
some.
Exactly, no doubt he would be able to handle it. Yep.
You watch him, those little guys charge through the lines, and it's like, look at, they're bringing everybody with them.
Yeah. I mean,
that's muscular. That's moving. Cool. So Stacy's his name, huh?
Stacy, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
he is the trademark of what passion can provide. As far as he loves the land, loves taking care of it, loves helping people out, and he's perfect.
Do you ever get frustrated that I mean, you're doing a lot, you're cleaning up a lot. We know you are, but then you drive down the road and you see a mess someplace, and you go, "Oh, come on."
Yeah, but that's something that I talk with the kids about. Inadvertently, we might all be litterers. It's not I doubt 90% of the stuff that's out on the roadside probably flew out of somebody's truck by mistake. They put something in the back of their truck and the wind just swept it out. Or kids running around. I give the example of you're playing tag and you put a Starburst wrapper in your pocket and you were running around, and next thing you know, it's not there anymore. Who knows where it went? And this island is so windy, that anything can start flying away at a moment's notice. So I we try to, not like demonize anyone or anything. It's just we all have the potential, and we just got to make sure to be really aware of where our things are and what are the things that we're using in the first place, and how can we reduce the amount that we're using so we have less to keep track of.
Gotcha. Now, these roadside pickups, every once in a while you'll see a group out on a Saturday morning or something with the same color shirts or whatever, and they're picking up trash and litter on the side of the road. Is that come under you, or is that under the county, or?
So there is an Adopt a Highway program, which is through the Department of Transportation. But a lot of times people come to us to get those super fun litter grabbers,
oh, okay.
for example. Because I think Adopt a Highway does provide materials as well for people who commit to that program. I think you have to clean up at least quarterly for a 1 or 2 year period. Don't quote me on that. That's just me working off of mine. But what we do for folks who want to have those litter grabbers or whatever, we can give them those materials to borrow and then bring back. And but then there are also, like, especially during campaigning periods, we get people coming to us and who definitely just, they want to pick a stretch of road and show the community that they're putting the effort in. And so those people do come through us too.
Okay.
It's just
Okay. So one thing too that I think about when I see a group out like that, I look to see that they have gloves on.
Yes.
The importance of wearing gloves when you're picking up anything along the road or anything that's not yours.
Right. So we do provide latex gloves for those who need them. Obviously, the kind of thicker kind leather gloves are preferable, so you don't get pricked by things. And also, like we tell the kids and anybody in general, if you don't feel comfortable picking it up, don't pick it up. It's, personal safety is number one, and the thing that you can do if you find something that's super gnarly or super big and you physically cannot pick it up, you can always go to our website, malamamauinui.org, and click on the action request form, and that's where people can report dump sites, whatever, things that they see out there, and we can, hopefully in time be able to get to them. Our field crew is so busy between the recycling programs and the cleanups that we do and all the different things that they've got on a daily basis, but we do also provide that service through county support of cleaning up illegal dump sites.
So you've got you've got volunteers, you've got some paid staff. I know I have a friend that works at the library, Friends of the Library over there, and so I go over there once a week, and it's like there's always something happening.
Yeah.
They're either getting loaded up to go do something or unloading from something they finished yesterday or whatever, and it's exciting to see that, because I don't know about you, but I think Maui's cleaner because of you guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I just, it's like, I don't know, why should it be so hard?
I think a lot of it is just awareness of opportunities out there. Like, I don't know how many people know that if they do have that old refrigerator, that they can go to Hammerhead Metals, and it's quick and easy drop off for free for residents to get rid of that stuff. It's just having the truck available to make it happen. But county also has their appliance pickup program,
Yeah.
So we do host the recycling guide on our website, which is the county's recycling guide, and that has a lot of information about what to do with those odds and ends of things that you don't want anymore.
Whoa, man, he's got the music going already. Wow. Yes. Okay, well, today we spoke with Leilani. You want to give the phone number again for Maui Mediation Services?
244-5744.
And Jen from Malama Maui Nui?
877-2524.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and don't forget to join us again next week. We are a community service, sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way. We want to thank you all. Again, we will be here next week, same time, same place. 2 more agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors will be on hand. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great week. Aloha.